Hey guys, today's content is going to be a little different. Something that I've actually worked on in the past. I'm going to be playing a video for you that I worked on last year. But quick story behind this video. Last year around this time, around January actually, I felt in my heart that God wanted me to start using my voice to speak. I love public speaking, and it is a gift that God has blessed me with. And I do desire to get better at it as I continue to live my life. And I may not be the best right now, but it's something I enjoy doing. And I've been told by several people that I'm actually pretty good at it. So it's something that I actually wanted to capitalize on last year, which actually led me to doing this YouTube channel a year later. Did not know that. But last year, around this time, I believe that God wanted me to build my voice and start utilizing my voice. From learning that, I actually went out and hired a coach. I hired a coach. Her name is Deborah. I do not have her anymore because funds is funny. But I hired a coach. I worked with her for roughly around 2 to 3 months. And she gave me a challenge in my second month. She gave me a challenge, and that was to go out and find somewhere to speak. And to speak, my speaking had to be 5 minutes long. Go out and find somewhere to speak on something that I'm passionate about. And I'm excited, truly excited, to share this video with you guys today. Last year, I went to a open mic that was typically used for poetry and people who write songs and stuff like that. But I went out there and I showed up and showed my talent or my gift of my public speaking. And I talked about men and vulnerability and how we should be able to work together in the world in general to build men, not to ignore women. I'm not saying ignore women, but as a man, I can only speak from the man's perspective. Let me know what y'all think. I'm getting ready to play it for you. And let me know what y'all think down in the comments down below. And please do not forget to subscribe to your boy's channel, Miguel with the Voice.
I'm not singing. I'm actually going to be speaking today. So, my name is Miguel Devon. Earlier this year, I really felt it in my heart that God wanted me to really use my voice this year. I believe I have the gift of speaking. And I don't believe that, even though I'm a follower of Jesus Christ, I don't believe that I have to spread the message of the gospel in the church, because people in the church, we're already good. I mean, we already good. Like, we're good. So outside of the church, I believe I can spread the message of Jesus Christ outside the church, like I said. However, today I'm not necessarily talking about Jesus. I'm actually talking about vulnerability. I want to talk about vulnerability. So, quick story real quick. Earlier this year, I said, you know what, I'm going to get a teacher because I believe that if you want to be good at something, it's not, even though you may already be a little good, it's never too late to get a teacher. It's always somebody that might be a little better than you, okay? So today, like I said, I want to talk about vulnerability. And as a man, it is something that we as men struggle with. This message is kind of for men, but it's also for women as well, to be able to create a space of vulnerability for men, because it's hard for men to be able to speak to women sometimes because we can feel like they'll judge us a little bit. And that's actually how I got to this message. I was talking to a friend of mine, and we were actually shooting pool. That's pretty manly. And he was talking about his feelings and stuff. And I was like, cool, man, have you talked to your fiance about it? And he said, no. He said, I feel like when I talk to her, and I start to cry, she's going to see me as weak. And I said, absolutely not. I said, if you have a woman in your life that creates a safe space for you, she will never make you feel that way. She will never do that to you. He argued with me and said, deep down in her heart, she will always see him as less than. Cool, something you need to work on. But that's what I'm actually talking about today. So I got 3 points I'm going to leave y'all with. I'm going to knock it out, get straight to it. First one, like I said, I'm not going to be preaching, but the first one has nothing to do with being a Christian, but Jesus existed. It's historical fact. Everybody know it, right? Jesus is considered to be the perfect man, and he is the one that also wept. He wept in front of his enemy, and he wept on his Father's behalf. Absolutely. So because the perfect man can weep, we as men who are imperfect can weep. Okay? In front of our enemies. That's good. Because our true strength is found in our vulnerability, which takes me to my second point. But strength is found in our vulnerability. I am a retired veteran at the age of 26 from the United States Air Force. Okay, I actually got here because I was stationed at Langley Air Force Base, and in my basic training course, I had an MTI, which is called a drill instructor in the Army, but everybody knows drill instructors, right? I had a drill instructor who was this tough, macho guy. And every evening we would go, I can't remember the name of the room, we would go in a room kind of like this, but it's a lot smaller. They don't have seats, you sit on your butt, okay? So you sit down crisscross. And this one evening, he was trying to kind of mend the team back together. There's stages to teams growing. And one of those stages is storming, okay? Storming. So we were in the storming stage. And he sits down with us, and he sits down in his chair, quite like this actually, sits down in his chair, and he talks to us about some, honestly, stuff he probably shouldn't have been talking about. He was telling us about a story of how he was overseas. His job is to shoot missiles from a drone. He was overseas, and as he was overseas, he was watching the screen, and he hit the button to shoot off a missile, and he could see the person's limbs flying everywhere. And as he's telling us this, we see our drill instructor as Mr. Macho. We see our drill instructor as the head honcho. When he comes in, he tells us to jump, we say how high. This is our leader. This is the guy that's leading us into our next path of life. And as he tells us this, we see the tears coming down his face. This Mr. Strong is not so strong anymore. For some people. But as someone who understands true vulnerability, as someone who understands and respects the space of vulnerability, I saw a strong man up there. Yeah. I saw a man who has been holding this and is now letting this out and creating a story through his vulnerability. My friends, what I'm trying to tell you is there is strength in our vulnerability. There is strength in our vulnerability. And there's strength in our vulnerability, and it creates ways of leadership. So as men, whenever we are vulnerable, we are actually being leaders to our family, to our friends, to our community, to whoever it is that may be shadowing us. And my last point is supply support. Create more space in vulnerability. You see that little boy or you see that little girl that you know they're not acting right. Create a space of vulnerability. Stop saying what's up and not even answering the question. My wife corrects me on that all the time. She says, I walk past a man and I'll say, how you doing? He'll say, how you doing? And she said, neither one of y'all answer the question. How are you actually doing? Because how often do we do that? We actually walk by, hey, what's up, man, what's up? Who are we supposed to talk to? We can't even talk to a brother that looks like us or a brother that we consider as our brother, right? How many times are we creating a space of vulnerability for other men? So I encourage you today, women and men, create a space of vulnerability for men in your life, men that you meet, because there's a lot more people willing to talk than you actually think. My name is Miguel DeBon. I appreciate y'all.
What's up, y'all? I really hope y'all enjoyed that video. Thank you for sticking around this long. I love watching that video because it was a really big moment for me. It was really hard to get up there and do that off the fly. Everything was off the fly. As I said, that was pretty much an assignment that my coach gave me. I had less than 24 hours before that assignment was due. And I was running out of time and I was there. I said, you know what, man, I'm gonna do it right here. I told my wife, hit the record button, I'm going up right now. So that was all off the fly, off the dome. It was something I was pondering on, but it wasn't really, I didn't have my words all together. All that was put together while I was standing up there. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. I really hope you're enjoying the channel and stick around as we continue to talk about how our limitations that our brain can set, how we can surpass those limitations from a biblical perspective by doing the things that God wired us to do, understanding how the mind works and progressing as we live this life together. I appreciate y'all and tune in next week.